Hello friends, welcome back to the bench. Thank you very much for joining me. Our patient is the AM98A Outback Misfire. Standard stuff. If you don't know this, if you're not familiar with this format, we're gonna fix it. There's gonna be no cuts and there's gonna be a little bit of rant. Some people like it, some people don't. So if you're not into this, just skip this one. Some people only watch my rants, not the other repair videos. No, so this is just for very the elite few. Oh, and look at this. This is interesting. There's a little bit of markings here. I wonder if it is the cylinders that misfire. So the cylinders on this chip go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And typically it's the cylinder 6 that misfires. But we have some markings over here, so maybe someone was planning to do this. It's not that hard. I don't know, it can be done. Just, as long as you know what you're doing, watch few of my videos and you should be able to do it. Although you will find that this looks a lot easier. Actually, you can watch my very first video or few of my first videos where I don't have as much experience working on this particular repair, and you can see how I struggle. It still worked, right? But instead of taking like half an hour, it would take 2 hours, right? So definitely you will find that it looks a lot easier when someone else is doing it, but it is pretty much straightforward. You just remove this chip, replace it. I replace it, but you can just resolder it. You don't have to replace the chip. And that's pretty much it. It's already 10 o'clock. Can you believe it? Had a pretty not the best morning because my landlord left me a letter last night in the late afternoon that my dog barks as early as 5 a.m. Yes, I'm a hard-working immigrant. I get up at 5 a.m. and my dog is happy. What am I supposed to do? I mean, well, I did what I could. I explained it to my dog that he's not supposed to be a dog before 5 a.m. or actually before 8 a.m. When it's allowed. I actually checked the Georgia law and it's actually 7 a.m., not 8 a.m. So he's like 2 hours off. Right? But I explained it to my dog that no, you're not supposed to be a dog in those hours. And he agreed. He said he didn't say, but he barked that he understood. And that's all I can do. Crazy. Crazy. Either allow dogs or don't allow dogs, right? That's how I see it. If you do allow dogs, then you must be aware of the repercussions. They're dogs. There's going to be some issues, right? Well, a lot is going on in the world right now. Like way too much to even wrap your head around it. So I was thinking, let's just maybe focus on more lighthearted topics. Not politics, because it gets overwhelming, especially now. You have 401k? No, you don't. What I was observing lately, or keeping my eye on, was the Disney's latest movie, Snow White. I would ask you guys, have you seen it? But I know you haven't, because Rachel Zegler was one of the very few people who went to the movie theater for this, and yeah, I haven't seen it either, so I only rely on the people who know about movies and and watch a lot of movies. I used to watch movies in my 20s. I would watch a lot of movies, but I just kind of, I don't know. It no longer uh, no longer brings me joy to watch a movie. When I have to sit through a movie, all I can think of is what else I could be doing right now that is productive, and I'm wasting my time watching a movie. Uh, Same with gaming. But out of those two, I would prefer to just, you know, open a game and relax, you know, not relax with a movie. It just kind of, I don't know, it's like this internal need for always doing something, right? At least in the game, you feel like you're achieving something, right? That kind of stuff, or maybe you're polishing your skills, something like that. But the movie, nah, not my cup of tea. But um, I expect you guys have heard of the movie. It's hard not to, because there was so much controversy around that movie, which is weird because it's such a, the story is like such an old story. It's an iconic movie of Disney's, right? The movie actually, well, the cartoon, but that was the first full-length feature film from Disney, right? The full-length movie-length animation, which was pretty rare back then. And in addition, it was groundbreaking technology that they used. By the technology, I mean just they put in like massive amounts of work. All right. Typically, if you watch cartoons, or if you've seen cartoons from around that area, around that time, it's very simplistic, static background and like some characters moving, something like that. So it was really plain, very basic, right? But what Disney did, they used the multi-layers and like really this was something that people haven't seen before. So for that reason, to kind of fill those shoes, you do need to do something special, right? And I would expect that they would introduce some new technology or some new concepts or something like that. But no, people say that the movie flopped. Why did the movie flop? Right? At this point, we can safely say that the movie was a big flop. Right? I don't think we have to argue about that. It's like the worst movie, as far as the box office goes, the worst movie ever released by Disney. And they did have quite a few flops in the past years, but nothing as terrible as this one. And people say that, you know, some say that it's because of all those controversy, and that probably did play some role in it. Others say that it's, you know, the movie flopped because the movie is bad. It's just a bad movie. Visually, there's some redeeming qualities as far as the songwriting and the singers, and yeah, we must admit that Rachel Zegler does have a beautiful singing voice. I'm no musician myself, so I can't really assess that myself, but it sounds good to me, and other people that do know are agreeing that she definitely can sing. She's talented, she's pretty, she's young, so she's been set up to win. And yet, she managed to snatch a defeat from the jaws of victory. Crazy. But, you know, before we start being too harsh, not all of that is her fault. And it's not like I'm standing in her defense. I actually already talked a little bit about this subject back in the day. because of her cruel remarks, calling the prince a stalker, and I guess he's not handsome enough. Because what I hear, if the man is not attractive, he's a stalker. If the man is attractive, he's cute. Right? Or creep. If he's not attractive, he's a creep. If he is attractive, he's cute. Or thoughtful or whatever. Right? But no, that's just a joke, of course. And my opinion was that she's young, right? My God, if anyone recorded me and my opinions when I was 20, I would not like those to be released now. And of course, I wouldn't agree with most anything that I've said in my 20s, right? First of all, your frontal lobe is not developed at that time yet, right? So your reasoning, your logic, all of that is relatively, well, just not developed, right? You as a conscious human are not developed in those years. You're a kid basically, right? Yeah, you can drink, you can vote or whatever depending on the country you live in, but you're a kid. You're still a kid, and that is actually terrifying to me. That we put like these artificial barriers or these points in life where we decide that from now on you're an adult, right? From now on everything you do brings consequences. But it's like at a certain, your whatever 18th birthday, 21st birthday, 25th birthday, and you suddenly switch from being a kid to being an adult. That's not how it works biologically, So that is, in my view, that is sad, because now you have the obligations of an adult, but you don't have the proper tools yet. And it takes years to develop those tools. So, Rachel is a young person. So, that was my conclusion in the previous one. Actually, the conclusion was that, first of all, we just kind of expect, or that's kind of our psychology, I guess. Once we become successful, we want to attribute that to our skills, attribute that to our hard work, to our talent, to whatever, right? And more often than not, it's pure luck, or luck has a lot to do with it. And it's pretty fragile because of that. And even if it's based in skills, it's still pretty fragile. We've seen that lately with one of the other repair shops that kind of fell into the same loophole. And I'm successful because I'm better than the rest of you, right? And I will graciously give you an advice. That didn't go well. But the same with the actors and stuff, especially with actors. Like suddenly, if your movie is successful, which is only partially thanks to you, suddenly you have to weigh in on politics and social issues and all of that, instead of just sticking to your job. Your job is to just look pretty and recite your lines and convince me that your character is alive, right? That is real human, right? Which is not easy, admittedly. You know, some people can do it, some people can't. So yeah, I'm not taking away from that. It is a skill that needs to be polished, and it takes years, I imagine. Although in case of Rachel Zegler, you know, how much time did that take? You know, if you're in your 20s, then, you know, you're just starting. You what? It was the same. What was her name? The armor on the set of movie Rust. What was her name? Why can I not remember her name? Gutierrez Reed. I can't remember her first name. Doesn't matter. When she was interrogated, she expressed that she has been, you know, she worked in as an armorer for, I don't know, a year maybe or whatever, but she's been handling guns all her life. Lady, you're 24. What do you mean all your life? Decades the most. Because decade ago you were what, 14? Were you handling guns then? Well, maybe you have been. But, you know, saying in your 20s that you've been doing something all your life, especially in your early 20s, you have no idea how ridiculous that sounds to me. All my life. But yeah, that's what we do. You think I was any different in my 20s? No. That's what we do. That's the youth. The youth has its traits, and they're inescapable. That's why we learn, and that's why some of us are better at some things and some of us are not, and it's only because we practice. We spend our years of our life doing something so we can become proficient at it. That's how it works. And you can't rush it. And you can't become an artisan in your 20s and say that you've been doing that all your life. Okay, I lost the chip. Oh my god. No way. I wasn't even talking about mask. It always happens when I talk about mask, but I guess Rachel has her own voodoo dolls. Okay. But really, I would it's kind of hard to root for Rachel, and it's kind of hard to just kind of be on her side and defend her. And I know some people do. Some people are defending her. But it's very hard because, you know, they say that she's cute. I disagree. Yes, she's an attractive young lady, and I use the word lady very loosely here. But cuteness, to me, to be cute, you need to be nice. You just need to be a nice, pleasant person to be around, and that to me is cute. And even if you're not attractive, you can still be cute. So no, I wouldn't say she's cute. And it's hard to be on her side because of that. Why do you have to be so... It's kind of like I've seen it recently on Discord. Someone commented on the video of the other repair shop. I haven't seen it, but they basically said that why does that guy always complain about his customers and always like really trashing his customers? And I'm actually familiar with that because it's a cultural difference. I'm familiar with that culture because Polish culture is pretty similar. that you always start from the assumption that the customer wants to steal from you, wants the free repair, uh, and you just kind of treat them like that, and you're always the victim. It's always the bad customer, right? Don't come back to my shop, that kind of stuff. I'm familiar with that, but if you take the opposite approach, the one that I take, sure, you might not be successful as far as the money goes, but I have never had a difficult customer. Not once. Not to say that there weren't some issues, lost packages, I broke the stuff, and I had to arrange for, like one time I had to arrange for, the actual mechanic to come to the customer in Colorado. Thank God I have a friend in Colorado that could do that. To code the keys in, because I broke the ECM, I got the replacement. I couldn't program it, and the replacement came from Ukraine. So it was a lot of waiting and stuff. I'm pretty sure it was a project car for the customer, because he didn't seem to like really suffer too much from that car not running for like 3 weeks. So hopefully that was it. But even in that situation, there was no issue. Yeah, I lost some money on that job, but I also learned something, and it was overall good experience. Right? Well, maybe not very pleasant experience, because obviously it stressed me out. You don't want to break customer stuff, especially when it comes to relatively rare engine control module. So yeah, that was not the best time in my life for sure, but there were no issues, and every customer that comes to my shop is treated, how do I call it? Well, that is actually a little there is a downside of that, because every customer in my shop is treated like my friend. And because of that, sometimes you just kind of treated like because you're treated like you're my only customer, right? But you're not. So if you send me stuff and you don't put the ticket number on, or there's no name on the label, there's the address, the return address is the UPS store somewhere. I can't find you. I know it feels like you're talking to me, and I know exactly who you are, and as soon as I receive your package, I know exactly who that belongs to. Now, sometimes it takes me days to actually match the box, like the laptop I have in the shop right now, for a CPU swap. Yeah, it was delivered, but nothing on the box, no ticket, no nothing, and so it was just sitting there, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't remember talking about that laptop to anyone, and indeed I was expecting to receive the board alone, just to perform a CPU swap, but I got the laptop with charger and like 2 CPUs, and third CPU is coming actually. I'm not sure what do you want me to do. Like, why are you sending me 3 CPUs? You want me to replace it 3 times? I'm not sure what's up with that, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's kind of a downside of it. That the customer has this feeling that I always know that he's the only customer, or my best customer and stuff, and that is what I want you to feel. But there's also reality, and you need to help me out a bit. At least put the ticket number in the box, or ticket tracking ID, or your email, or your something that I can match the box that I received to you. I mean, sometimes it's the devices are like unique enough that I know that it's this, right? I know it's this customer. I remember talking about that, yeah. But if it's a generic laptop or ECM and stuff like that I get a lot, then obviously you need to help me out a bit so I can match you. But back to Rachel. The reason it's so hard to root for her is because she can't seem to accept the defeat, which is, again, it is normal for a 20-year-old. She's not too keen on receiving feedback. She seems to be very entitled. The rumor has it that she's difficult to work with, and guys, every 20-year-old is difficult to work with in any industry. Maybe not every 20-year-old the same way, but yeah, you haven't developed this discipline yet, right? You're not a professional yet. You're a kid learning the trade, and learning is demanding. It is hard. And it takes time, it takes patience, it takes hard work. You can't rush it. So yeah, that's why on certain teams, it is required that you have, you have the groundwork people, but you have to have at least one or two more senior people on the team and the supervisor, right? That's how it works, right? So you're not gonna have people, say guys in their 50s working under a guy in his 20s. It's not gonna go well, basically. You need that level of maturity on the team in the leadership positions to keep the team running efficiently and to get the job done. But from the very beginning, when Rachel was talking about the movie, what stuck with me the most was actually few things, because she gave us a lot of content. A lot of content. God bless her for the content she keeps giving us. But the first one saying, that the movie is extremely dated, but it's not even, if she said it the way I'm saying it right now, that the movie is extremely dated when it comes to portraying women in power. That could have been not so bad, but she said it with such a disgust that the movie is extremely dated. That definitely rubbed me the wrong way, because who are you to even say something like that? And are you not aware of the repercussions of that? Well, of course you're not. You're in your 20s. You're supposed to be a kid, sure, but from that point on, Disney, the seniors, the disciplined professionals, they should have stepped in. So I blame it on Disney. I don't blame it on Rachel. There you go. I don't blame Rachel. I blame Disney. Because after all, at the end of the day, they are the ones responsible. They are disciplined professionals, the adults in the room. They should have fixed that situation very quickly. I don't know how, but yeah, I don't work in that industry, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how. But the company with over 100 years, yeah, I think way over 100 years of experience, there's legacy. It's not like a startup. We have an idea for a movie and let's put together a company and make the movie happen. No, it's a legacy, especially this iconic movie. And from the very beginning, first it was all about the dwarves, offensive and all that stuff. And there's like a lot of theories about what's his name? That name escapes me. But the little person that works in Hollywood. And so the opinion was that, well, since he's got his job, he doesn't want any other little people to be in Hollywood because it's competition or or something. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. But it kind of gave that impression, you know. So that was from the beginning. Then, you know, obviously casting Snow White and changing the story that she's Snow White because of the weather. Again, if the movie was good, I don't think that would be a problem. But the movie has to be good. Yeah, a lot of people had problem with it. I think understandably so. But again, if it all made sense in the movie, then that wouldn't be such a big problem. But the story seemed like we only developed half the story, and then the rest, and the rest we just used the script from the original, and it seems like some things in the movie happen just because it was the original. It doesn't make sense for things to happen that way, right? The story has big holes in it, which is, you know, it's very difficult to write a story without holes, and you know, it's extremely difficult, sure. People who can actually do that are making very good money. For the story to make sense, for there to not be plot holes, right? And they work with huge budget, and even then, like, you guys watch this channel Cinema Sins. Their motto is that there is no movie without a sin or without sins, and true, every movie is gonna have some plot holes here and there, or some things that don't really make sense. It is to be expected. And that's why only very few movies have like really good storyline. But like, considering perhaps Matrix, right? I only liked the first one. I didn't like any of the following ones. I've seen some of them, not too many. But the first one, I think the ending to the first one was a perfect ending, and the story should end there. But obviously there are considerations like money grab, right? The first version was a big success. We have to make a second one just to capitalize on that. And those second versions typically are worse. There are exceptions, like Terminator. I preferred the second one. Not to say that the first one wasn't good. It was actually, in a way, it was better, but they made the second one really well, and great cast, you know, great acting, amazing movie, right? What was I gonna say about the? Oh right, the Matrix. There are plenty of plot holes in the Matrix, right? The first one, right? The original one. Huge issues there. But the way movie was made, and maybe I wasn't too happy with acting, but it wasn't bad. Yeah, as far as the logic goes, I was not too happy with the movie. But again, the movie just came together really well. It was a great experience watching it, and of course, it was a while ago. So even with those plot holes, you don't really focus on those if the movie is good. But in case of Snow White, neither the movie was good, nor the plot holes were ignorable. And again, I haven't seen it. I will see it eventually, when I don't have to pay for it, or I just have to utilize my Disney plus subscription. Because we're heading in the recession, so I don't have money to spend on the movies. That might be part of it, that might be a part of why the movie flopped. People are just not in the mood for Disney movies and princesses and stuff when there's trouble in the world. That could be explained by that. But even if I did see it, again, I am not an expert and far from it. I can only assess, what I think. Did it feel good or not? Right? Did it watch well? And so I can't really tell that. But in either case, I rely on people who actually analyze the movies. It's kind of like with music, right? You can like some music, right? Some musical piece, but without being a musician or music producer or whatever, without being aware of the music theory, having skills or even skilled ear to assess certain details, you can't really assess whether they did a great job or not. You can only tell whether you liked it or not, right? The same with movies, right? I can just tell I like the movie, but I can't really give my opinion regarding did they do a good job or did they screw up. So I rely on the opinions of others that do know their stuff, and the opinion seems to be unanimous between all the experts. The scores are tragic, like one or two, between 1 and 2 out of 10, not out of 5, out of 10. Can you imagine? Out of 10, you scored below 2, less than 20%. That puts you in a really bad spot. Then turn around in the theaters. Crazy. Nobody wants to see the movie for some reason. And I don't know if people are boycotting the movie, or because of all that drama and stuff, or because they changed the story so much, or again, just it's not the best time to release a movie like this. Maybe around Christmas it would be better. I don't know. I don't know when the most people watch movies in the movie theater. Is it more in winter, more in spring, more in summer? I would think that in the springtime, like now, especially after like a long winter and stuff, I don't think you want to spend your time in the movie theater. I would guess you prefer to just do some outdoorsy stuff and maybe go to Disneyland or something like that, but not to go see a movie. But I wouldn't know. It's not like I analyzed any of that. Just what feels like to me. So maybe that was part of it, but the bottom line is nobody went to see the movie. Then right before the premiere, Rachel again went online and said, I don't need your business, and that's probably the most off-putting thing about her. That I'm right, you're wrong, and the sooner you realize that I'm right and you're wrong, the sooner we can become friends, or you are allowed in my space, right? Nobody likes that, because nobody knows everything. And even I'm all for sharing opinions, right? I share my political views, and I invite you guys to discuss it with me. And some of you do. We do have some discussions on Discord, and we agree on some things, we disagree on some things, but we have an open dialogue, and nobody's yelling, nobody's getting offended. Listen to the other side, right? I expressed my opinion that immigrants are hardworking, they don't get in trouble, they don't break the laws, and all that. So it's a good thing. But then, listening to the other side, I was made aware of all those accidents on the roads because immigrants that don't speak English and made their commercial the CDL like a week prior, and they get in the truck and they're trucking across the country, and plenty of those. That was staggering. How many people died because those people, the immigrants not speaking English, just couldn't read the signs, like their brakes gave out. And there was a special lane where you can turn, and basically just hit the pile of sand, right? That's what it's there for. And it's on I live near Appalachian Trail, or the pass, Appalachian Pass. And when you go down, and that happened to me twice, that my brakes gave out when I was going down. Luckily, my car is not too big, so I can put it in semi-automatic mode. Just put it in the second gear, and hold the handbrake a little bit, and I'll keep my speed, and just pray that you don't have to stop suddenly. But even if I do, I'm doing like 40, I can always turn and just crash the car. The guy that was driving the truck, he didn't know that that's how it works, right? Because he wasn't trained. He couldn't read the sign, and even if he could, he didn't know what it meant. Because I didn't when I first got here. I didn't know that was a thing, right? And they caused quite a few deaths, if you summarize all those. And I still don't blame the immigrants, because it's not like he got on the road or he was drinking or anything like that. He was just trying to do his job, but he was put in the position to do the job that he was not competent to do. So, if anyone, I blame the companies that just want to cut cost, or partially, because they need to cut cost because of other factors, right? It's not like they're greedy. They're trying to survive, like all of us, right? So to the certain degree, I blame the companies that hire incompetent people, but not immigrants, right? But it's a problem, right? We can't ignore that, right? I can't just say that no, that's rare or something, and no, immigrants always good, right? No, there's clearly a problem that needs to be addressed. So this is the most off-putting about Rachel, that she believes she's on the right side of the history, and it's black and white. And it's never black and white. There's a nuance to all of those issues, and if you don't appreciate the nuance in it, if you don't recognize the nuance in it, then you're going to be on the wrong side of the history. And even if she's on the right side of the history, well, this is egotistical, in my view. That you just want to be right, and you want to be proven right now. All right? If you want to be on the right side of the history, you have to first finish your life and then the following generations make that determination whether you were on the right or the wrong side of the history. Now, you don't get to be on the right side of the history in your 20s. So that most off-putting thing was when she said, either vote for Harris, and if you don't, then you're a bad person. And I have quite a few Republican friends, quite a few Democratic friends, and friends that don't really follow politics and don't even want to talk about politics, which I respect as well. There's plenty of other things to talk about. But actually, I was talking to a friend of mine recently, and he voted for Trump. He's not happy with the results, but he didn't vote for Trump because he's a MAGA cultist, right? No, he had the list of reasons why he voted for Trump. It had nothing to do with party affiliation or any of that nonsense, just policies and stuff. Yet he tends to be labeled as a cultist or MAGA, whatever derogatory descriptors, right? And that's what Rachel did. Like everybody who voted for Trump, then they should be terminated. They should know no peace and that kind of stuff. You see, black and white. She sees it as black and white issue because she doesn't talk. She talks. She doesn't listen to the other side because she doesn't talk with the other side. Because either you agree with me or I remove you from my space. That's a horrible existence to be. That is a that way you're not gonna grow. There's nothing wrong with changing your beliefs, your opinions. And one last thing about a friend of mine that voted Trump. I asked him how he's going to vote in the midterms coming up. Well, it's still kind of early to make any definitive decision, but he's planning to just stay home, not vote, and that is the loyalty to the party, right? And how Republican voters make their voice heard is that they just don't vote. They either vote for Republican or not vote at all, and then Democrats win, right? They don't vote for Democrats, meaning, I don't agree with this candidate's approach, policies and stuff, but I also don't agree with the other one. So I'm stepping back. You don't have my vote this time around, right? And that's how it works. Very rarely people switch sides, right? It goes the same for Democrats. Yeah, it's not like last year or last election you voted blue, this election you vote red. It's last election you voted blue, this election you're not going to vote, right? And that's how you express your disapproval of both candidates, or the candidate, the party that you are loyal to did not meet your expectations, and they just don't get your vote. They don't get the opposite vote, but they don't get your vote. That's how it works, okay? And labeling everybody in the same bucket, that's crazy. That's just unreasonable, absolutely unreasonable. And so that was her second to last thing that she did that was very questionable to me. I have no idea why, but again, she's 20 or 21, I don't know, 20 something. She went to the movie theater, and her friend recorded her when the movie showed her name, right? On the screen was her name. They panned over to her, and she's laughing, being in an empty theater. I don't know, does she realize what message does it send? It's like, I'm broadcasting that I'm in my bubble, okay, and I'm happy in my bubble, right? Even though you can see outside my bubble that no one's on my side, the movie theater is empty, but I'm here sitting celebrating like, you know, like there's a line of people to get my autograph right after the movie ends, or during the movie or something. And on that note, actually, she did express she basically being very ungrateful for the opportunity she has, and expressing her I don't know how to address it in words properly, you know, but basically she was not too happy with people recognizing her in public and stuff. Like it's such a burden and stuff. I don't know. Personally, I would be flattered, but you know, to each their own. And if you don't like the attention, I'm not sure you chose the right profession. You know, weird. But we're gonna finish it here. The ECM is repaired. No more misfires here. We're having another one actually that I did. What was it? A few days ago. I had an urgent one to do, but it was a miscommunication. And I read the message from the customer like, yeah, it's urgent. It needs to be done ASAP. So I did it off camera, and you know, in the evening and then in the morning, and I rushed it and I sent it. And then the customer's asking, when is the video coming out? And there's no video. But the ECM made it to the customer, and the same cylinder misfires. So either I messed up, possible, or there's something else wrong with the car. But the customer confirmed that there's no injector signal. And again, on cylinder 6, I'm gonna have to look into that a little further, because it's very unusual for that to return the same cylinder. Typically when I mess up, the car won't start, not misfire on the same cylinder. Weird, very, very weird. But the bottom line is that after all, he's gonna get his video, right? But it's a second repair. Anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you enjoy my rants. If not, give it either thumbs up or thumbs down. I appreciate both, because it's, as far as YouTube goes, it doesn't really matter if it's thumbs up or down. It's still engagement. Same with comments, and you know, if you have mean comments, bring them on. I appreciate any kind of feedback, right? If I didn't, then I wouldn't be publishing my videos, right? That's the accountability. Anyways, I shall see you guys in the next one.